Hey guys, how you doing? This is going to be my first NBA video. I'm very excited. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm a huge Knicks fan. The Knicks are actually going to be good this year. I think they're actually going to get the 8th or the 7th spot and make the playoffs this year, which is very surprising. And I'm usually a sad Knicks fan or just a sad fan because the Knicks always stink, at least in my lifetime. So let's just get right to it. This video is going to focus on who I believe are the top 10 players in the NBA right now. The categories I use to figure this out is points per game, is assists per game, rebounds per game, 3-point percentage, field goal percentage, my eye test, free throw percentage, and how good they are in the postseason. If they're clutch, if they're not clutch, if they're a choke artist, etc. The players that I looked at, obviously I didn't look at all the players in the NBA, so the players that I looked at, and tell me if I'm missing anyone, are Steph Curry, LeBron James, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeMarcus Cousins, Marc Gasol, Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving, Paul George, Kevin Love, Carmelo Anthony, Marcus Aldridge, Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler, John Wall, Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving, and Dwight Howard. Now, after running off those million names that I just ran off, you're probably thinking, oh, he missed Derrick Rose. I'm leaving Derrick Rose out of this because he is as injury prone as any NBA player has ever been, including Tracy McGrady. So I'm just leaving him out. And obviously you're thinking, oh, that's more than 10 names. Yes, because I think there are arguable people that should be in the top 10 or that shouldn't be in the top 10 that you could argue. So I'm going to start from 10 and go up. My 10th best player is Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard over his career, which has been very short, is 20.4 points a game, 3.6 rebounds, 7.7 assists. From three-point range, he shoots 37%, and his field goal percentage is 46. All very impressive numbers on a not so good of a team. And I think he's the number 10 slot. It's an arguable 10 slot because there are other players that could go in that 10 spot, but he's just a very good shooter. He is a go-to guy. You go to him when you need a basket, and I think he's very clutch in the postseason. He did hit a last-second shot a few years ago to make the Trailblazers go to the next round, but that will be my 10. Number 9 is mostly based on defense. Marc Gasol is a great defender. He is one of the best defenders in the league. He is a beast under the basket. And I think he's just a great, solid, smart player. That's why I have him at number 9. He also has 14 points per game, 7.8 rebounds per game, 3.0 assists per game. His field goal percentage is 50, which is very high. I know most of his shots are under the basket, but that's a great field goal percentage. His free throw shooting is actually very good for a center/power forward, which is at 76%, and he has 1.5 blocks per game for his career. He's been very good for the Memphis Grizzlies. He has been just a great person for Zach Randolph to go off of, and I think he's just a great, great player. Very underrated, too. These two guys I could arguably put below the top 10 or in the top 10, so I think these two guys are definitely arguable. So I would definitely listen to anyone who has other reasons why they shouldn't be. The next 7, I don't think you can argue that they're not at least in the top 10. They are great players. And we'll start off at number 7 with DeMarcus Cousins. DeMarcus Cousins does not have the career numbers yet because he hasn't been in the league so long, and he also just got his breakout year last year or the year before. And but his 18.9 points is impressive, a little bit on the low side for being a top 10 player, just like Marc Gasol. But he has 10.6 rebounds per game for his career, and that's insane. He's averaging a double-double for his career, which is unbelievable. He has 2.6 assists. His free throw shooting is what really put me in his top 10. He's at 74%, and for center or power forward, that's not high at all. And his field goal percentage is around 50%, so that's very good also. So I would put him at number 7. He's also just a beast under the basket, and you really can't stop him. He's a powerhouse, and that's why he's my number 7 player. Blake Griffin is my number 6 player. Some people will say he's pretty high, especially since he has Chris Paul as his point guard. But he has 21.6 points a game, 9.7 rebounds a game, 4 assists per game, which is pretty high for a power forward. His field goal percentage is 50%. Obviously, a lot of them dunks, but still, it's dunk. It's still 2 points, so you got to count it. And his 3-point range from 3-point range is 40%. Think about that. He was not a 3-point shooter coming out of college. Last year is when he broke through on his 3-pointers. He's a good 3-point shooter now. He doesn't shoot as many as like a shooting guard would, but he's still good from 3-point range. And I think he's just improving every year. And that's what my eye test is telling me. He used to just be a dunker when he came into the league. Now he can do post-up moves. He can shoot from 3. He's a great passer. He's getting better at dribbling, and he's just a beast on defense. So I think he's a very good player, and he just keeps improving every year. That's why I have him on my 6th slot. My number 5 slot. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's why Blake Griffin's my 7th spot. DeMarcus Cousins is my 8th spot. Marcus Hall is my 9, and Damian Lillard is my 10. So Chris Paul would be my 6th slot. Chris Paul has 18.7 points a game, 4.4 rebounds a game, which is a good amount for a point guard, actually a pretty high amount for a point guard. 9.9 assists per game, which is unbelievable. 2.3 steals per game, which is awesome for a point guard, and just awesome for anyone in general. His free throw shooting is at 86%, which is very good. Field goal percentage is at 47%, very good. And his 3-point range is at 36%, which is great, which is good, not great, but he's not really a 3-point shooter anyway. He is the quintessential pass first and take a shot later. Chris Paul is probably the best true point guard in the league, which means that he is a pass first point guard. So I would put him definitely at 6. You can move him up or down. I have these 3 players, and Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeMarcus Cousins as my 6, 7, and 8 players. Can move up or down, but stay in the top 10. These next 5 players are pretty much set in stone. I don't think these next 5 players can really move up or down. I did just say Chris Paul can move up, but I think these 5 players actually, to go back on my word, these 5 players are definitely top 5. They can move in between the top 5. But these 5 players, I don't think you can even argue right now. Russell Westbrook is my 5th best player at 21.2 points per game, 7.2 assists per game, 5.3 rebounds per game, which is unheard of for a point guard. 3-point range is 30%, which is not great, but he's not really a 3-point shooter. And field goal percentage is at 50%, which is great. He is unguardable. He's just mad when he drives the basket. Like, he's just a mad guy. It's just unbelievable to watch. He is aggressive as could be. He is great on the boards. 5.3 rebounds for a game for a point guard is unbelievable. And when Kevin Durant was gone, he carried his team almost to the playoffs last year. And he's just a great point guard. And he maybe is even the best on Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't think so, because I think Kevin Durant is my 4th best player, just ahead of Russell Westbrook. His injuries do hurt him a little bit in this ranking, but he has 27.3 points per game over his career, which is unbelievable. His rebounds are at 6.9, which I think should be a little higher because he's more of a power forward, but he also is a small forward, so he's in between there. He has 3.5 field goals per game. 3.5 assists per game, I'm sorry. His field goal percentage is at 48%, which he is a distant shooter, so that's unbelievable. His 3-point range is at 38%, which I thought was going to be higher, but still very, very good at 3-point range. He was the 2nd best player for the longest time. You could see by the points, and he's just an amazing player. And Russell Westbrook really doesn't pass to him that often, and he's a little bit of a ball hog, so it's kind of hard for Kevin Durant to get the ball. But he is still he's just a beast and unguardable. He is way too tall for everyone, way too fast for everyone. And he's like Gronkowski. He's like the Gronkowski of the NBA. He's too fast for the centers and the power forwards to guard him, and he is too big for the shooting guards and the small forwards to guard him. So he's just unguardable. I would put James Harden at 3. Yes, he has only 19.7 points for his career, but he was the 6th man for 3 years of his career for Oklahoma City until they traded him to Houston, which is probably one of the worst trades I've seen ever, because they definitely would have won a championship if they kept him. With Houston, he has a 26.5 points per game. He is the best shooting guard in the league. I don't put LeBron as a shooting guard, so he is the best shooting guard in the league. He is unguardable. He is one of the best dribblers in the league. He is one of the most elusive players in the league. The only thing is he does not play defense. That's why he's at 3, not higher. And you can maybe move him even to 5 or 4 because he just does not play defense. These other 5 guys, or 2 guys above him and 2 below him, definitely do play defense. But James Harden is an unbelievable scorer, probably the 3rd best scorer in the league right now. Then my next player, well, you're going to think it's either Steph Curry or LeBron James. I'm going to go with my next player being LeBron James, and this is why. LeBron James, I think this year he's going to go a little bit down on the slope of his peak level. He does have 27.3 points per game for a career, 7.1 rebounds, which is higher than Kevin Durant. He has 6.9 assists, which is higher than Durant. That's why he's better than Durant. He has 1.7 steals per game, which is unbelievable for his size and everything. His field goal percentage is at 49.6%, better than Durant. And his three-point range is at 34%. It's the only thing that's not better than Durant. Them two are very much compared all the time. LeBron is a beast on defense. You see that from all of his tracking back and blocking people that are trying to hit layups. LeBron James is my 2nd best player because this year they're going to show why LeBron James is going a little bit down and Steph Curry is still getting better every year. So Steph Curry, I believe, is going to overtake him this year. That's why I think he's going to be the best player of 2015. Doesn't mean he's going to be the MVP because MVP is the most valuable player. I think that's going to go to James Harden, who has a worse team than Steph Curry. But Steph Curry is going to be the best player. Steph Curry has 21.1 points per game, but he's getting better every year. His last 3 years, he's had 23.7 points per game. And he shares the wealth with Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. So he's going to have a lower point percentage, except for this year. I think he's going to get around 28 points this year per game. It's going to be unbelievable what he does this year. His three-point range is at 44%, which is great, especially since he just chucks up a ridiculous amount of threes a game. And he is the fastest shooter I have ever seen in my life. The time that it takes for him to get the ball and shoot the ball in the hoop is like less than a half a second. It is unbelievable. He is unguardable. If you're comparing LeBron James and Steph Curry, you got to give Steph Curry the shooting edge. You got to give LeBron James the rebounding edge. You got to give Steph Curry and LeBron probably the same amount of assists. Points per game, I think Steph Curry is going to beat him this year. So Steph Curry is going to have that edge with the points per game. Steph Curry, even though LeBron, they say, there's a lot of people that say LeBron is just a beast. He's a freak of nature. He is a freak of nature. And Steph Curry can never be that because he's too small. Well, LeBron can never be Steph Curry because Steph Curry is so small, so elusive, and so quick. And LeBron can never be that quick. He can never shoot the ball that quick out of his hands and be as good as he is or good as Steph Curry is, or even as good as he is now if he tried to shoot the ball as fast as Steph Curry did, which makes Steph Curry unblockable. And Steph Curry is the best dribbler in the league by far, and he's getting a lot better at wheeling and dealing when it comes to getting the ball to other players like Klay Thompson. He is the best player in the league, Steph Curry, in my opinion. So my top 10 list are Steph Curry, 1, LeBron James, 2, James Harden, 3, Kevin Durant, 4, Russell Westbrook, 5, Chris Paul, 6, Blake Griffin, 7, DeMarcus Cousins, 8, Marc Gasol, 9, Damian Lillard, 10. Now let's go to the honorable mentions. The honorable mentions would be Paul George. He doesn't have enough sample size for me because he got injured all of last year. He is a very good player. I could see people putting him in the top 10 for 2015 and in the future, but I couldn't put him there. The big controversy is Carmelo Anthony. I don't like Carmelo Anthony, so I'm a little biased towards that. But if you look at his numbers, he has 25.2 points per game. I never said he wasn't a top 5 scorer. He's definitely a top 5 scorer. He's probably 4th on my list behind Steph Curry, LeBron James, and James Harden as the top 5 scorer, or maybe 5th behind Kevin Durant, maybe 6th behind Russell Westbrook. It's very arguable, but he's definitely a top 10 scorer, maybe even top 5. Top 10 list, so you couldn't really put him there. But definitely Carmelo Anthony is the only player I could see moving up or down from this list, or Paul George, maybe Kyrie Irving or Kevin Love, but Carmelo Anthony is the big key and the big discrepancy. But you heard my top 10. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Very long video, but I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe below and comment below if you enjoyed this video or if you didn't enjoy this video. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy Thursday night football and enjoy tonight's basketball games. Goodbye.